Good evening, Milpitas. I am Min No, your 2024 Board President, and welcome to this meeting of the Milpitas Unified School District Board of Education. We appreciate your attendance and participation in our education proceedings, which align with the Ralph N. Brown Act for open meetings. Tune in to our hybrid-style meetings online on either Zoom or YouTube or in person inside our boardroom. To review, public comments can be made while you are logged onto Zoom or you are in person. YouTube, however, is a listen-only option. If you are unable to do either of these, please visit our written public comments webpage for instructions on how to submit your written comment. One 2-minute public comment per person is allowable for each item, and we also have a group, so 1 5-minute per group as well. Item 7, closed session announcements. There was no action taken in closed session. Item 8, review and approve the open session agenda. Do I have
Motion to approve.
a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Open session agenda is approved. We have item 9, the flag salute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cadet Petty Officer 2nd Class Verdi, and I'm speaking on the behalf of the Milpitas High School NJRTC program. Cadets accompanying me today are Cadets Petty Officer Stodomingo, Cadet Lin, Cadet Nwinbi, Cadet T, Cadet Yu, Cadet Palayo, and Cadet Chang. Please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance in the back of the building, and please remove all hats and hoods.
Ho, ho, peace. Peace and arms.
You may begin. I pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms.
You may be all seated. Thank you.
Hold, arms.
We're good.
Thank you, cadets of NJRTC. Next on the agenda is comments from the public. I do have 2 speaker cards here in person. First is Jerry Campos.
Hi, my name is Jerry Campos, and I am the former president of the Milpitas Council PTA. I recently just finished my 2-year term as president, and now I feel like it's important to speak up and let the public know how a current board member decided to play games with our students, teachers, and community. In 2022, I heard about Milpitas Council PTA needing a new president. I took the trainings over the summer and was prepared to be elected at the first meeting of the new school year. This is the same year Anunaka decided to run for school board. At the first meeting in September, I was informed that Anunaka had decided to throw her name in the hat for president of the council PTA. She was told that doing so would cause an issue if she won the school board race. It was also suggested to her maybe take another position on the board so that if she did win, it would not cause any disruptions to the flow of business the council handles. Most roles other than the president are easy to replace. In Milpitas, it's not that easy to find council PTA presidents, especially ones that have actually gone through the trainings like me. Not wanting any conflict from this individual who had never been involved or shown interest at the council PTA level, she decided to try and use the position for her own personal gain. I decided best to step aside and let her do it. She wanted it so badly. After she won the election, she resigned from the council PTA. As I already had done the trainings, I was then confirmed as president since no one else wanted the position. At this point, I started working with our PTA units and discovered in the 3 months Anunaka held the position, she practically did nothing. It was at this point it fully set in what she did. She used the PTA for her personal gain to win an election in Milpitas. I am now disgusted that Anunaka wants to use MUSD as a stepping stone to the city council. She's done it before and she is trying to do it again. Look out, Milpitas, Anunaka doesn't always have your back, she has her own. Shame on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the group of Tui Lee, Jessica Hughes Little, and Janelle Victorino. 5 minutes.
Hi, I would like to introduce ourselves. I'm Janelle Victorino. I'm the Milpitas High Booster Club Secretary. I have here Twee. She's our president. Here, our treasurer is Jessica and Paul. That's our VP. We're here today to present that we are representing Milpitas High Booster Club. We're the new board members taking over, and we are now trying to clear up all financial issues with our previous board members that are claiming false accusations that we are stealing, using their money for our own personal gain. We are not using money for our personal gain. They are trying to claim that one of the Booster Club's financial accounts is their own, and they're using that money for their own financial gain. Would you like to address this, Twee? Jessica?
We just want to know if we have your guys' support to focus on the children, the student athletes. That's all that we're trying to do. Clear things up and just move forward in a positive light. And we keep kind of getting hurdles from them and not receiving all of the Booster Club property and assets. For example, the checkbooks we haven't received back. And we just needed some help with. Wanted to bring to the attention that we are the new board members. We want to involve the community. We want everything to be transparent. We would love parents to come out and help support the club and the student athletes as well. So that's all I have to say.
I just want to say their name. The previous president, his name is Ferdy Centeno, and the treasurer was Irma Gonzalez. These two has been president and secretary for the past, I want to say 5 years for the AABC club. And because of that, a lot of things has happened that not a lot of people know of, but there was a lot of accounts, moving of money, different bank accounts, different EIN numbers. So now we're trying to clean everything up. And as we're doing so, we're getting a lot of pushback from them and a lot of accusations and claims that they own the other bank account, which they do not. And we just need you guys to investigate this. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. I just came here, just showed up here right now, been running around, but we just need the whole community involvement. Our sports section for the Milpitas, we have one school we cannot get right. By the time our 4th graders or 5th graders get to the high school level, there's gonna be no money left. Okay, I can go on and I talk about this with everybody, but can we get your guys' involvement? We are doing this as charity, as we work, just like all you guys, and then we go and do volunteer. We need more parents' involvement. If you guys can help us out and get the word out. There's plenty of volunteers. We need a concessions department. We need memberships. We need all that stuff to help. Anything we can get. We have one school. I traveled to St. Francis, Notre Dame. You got people giving donates of $50,000. We can't even get $5 or 5 minutes or 5 hours a month from a parent. Come on. We're Milpitas. So that's all I got. I just need more parents. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Superintendent Jordan, could we have the high school leadership look into that as far as the organization of the Athletic Booster Club?
Yes, I will have asked them to look into the organization as well as the bylaws. Perhaps the bylaws, there might be something under dedication of assets, and that might be a leverage that the Booster Club could examine for the funding. And then as we talked earlier, there's possibility of also having police involvement in the situation.
Thank you, Superintendent Jordan. Scott, do we have any written public comments?
Oh, Board President, no. I just wanted to confirm what the superintendent has shared. She said, one, the recommendation is to look at the bylaws because we put in a lot of work several years ago when it came to the high school booster club in terms of the structure, the leadership, the financial accountability, being under the purview of the district. And if the financial accountability wasn't to standards as agreeable by the board, we had the ability to look at revoking their MOU with the school district because the Booster Club is a separate entity under the purview of the board, under the leadership of the principal of the high school and also the athletic director overseeing the boosters program. So the board has the purview of the MOU and the bylaws within that MOU, and then they also made some allegations on dollar amount, so that this may be also require some criminal investigation as well. Are we referring to that possibility as well after the investigation?
What I'm referring to is, yes, one is the bylaws, which were created at the time that the board did not authorize the booster clubs the athletic booster club to authorize it to operate until it had bylaws. Then those bylaws were created, and those bylaws have in it a clause around, I happen to be looking at it, the dedication of assets. It looks though that it says on liquidation or dissolution, all remaining properties and assets of the athletic booster club shall be distributed and paid to Milpitas High School Athletic Department as part of the school district. So that is something that the new leaders should look at in conjunction with Principal Woolman. And also to Trustee Norwood's point, the board has not yet received from the athletic boosters its authorization request to operate this year. So until that comes through, also the board does have the ability to let the booster club know that they should not be operating until that is officially motioned on by the board whenever they submit that paperwork. Because every booster club and PTA has to submit that annually in order to operate.
So one of the things that I also heard is that they need some support or some guidance from this side.
Right.
So I believe it's a position of the board to support your direction in collaboration with the principal of the high school, and then any of the other stakeholders that are involved, because this is a student activity that touches a lot of our students, but also at our one high school in the district. So it is an important thing to all of the board, I could probably say, based on the amount of time and energy that we spent over the last 4 years trying to make sure that this happens, this gets right.
Agreed. And that's why I do believe we may need to also involve the authorities, Milpitas authorities in it. And I think we might be hedging on saying too much for public comment.
Thank you.
And Scott, do we have any written public comments? And for the members in the audience, public comment, please fill out a green card to turn in for public comment.
We do have one written public comment. It's from, and forgive me if I mispronounce the name, Siba Kumar Narayanan from Milpitas, has children attending MUSD schools. To the MUSD community and residents of Milpitas, I am writing to express concerns regarding board member Anu Naka's decision to run for city council after serving only 2 terms on the school board. While it is her right to seek new roles, it's important for our community to consider the impact on the students and teachers of MUSD. Taxpayer dollars have been spent training Ms. Naka for her board position, which she now plans to vacate early if elected to the city council. This raises questions about the responsible use of your taxpayer dollars. With a $2 million district deficit, the cost of replacing a board member should not be taken lightly. There are serious costs to incur. Our community deserves leaders who are fully committed to their roles, and it is essential to hold board members accountable for decisions that affect the district's financial and educational outcomes. I encourage everyone to stay informed, ask questions, and participate in the upcoming elections to ensure our district's future is in reasonable hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Are there any online comments?
We have no online comments at this time.
And members of the audience, any other green cards? All right. Moving on to item 11, MUSD strategic goals. Build a culture of reading that engages parents, staff, and community partners in support of student success. Improve communication systems for better outreach to parents, students, and staff. Develop educational pathways that allow students to apply their passion and learning for their future careers. Focus services and support systems to ensure that all students are engaged in their learning and are making social, emotional, and academic gains. And identify creative student-focused strategies to accommodate enrollment growth to ensure healthy learning environments. And item 12, superintendent's report recognitions.
Thank you, President No. All right. I would like to start this evening with our maiden MUSD team members from Weller. We have Julie Sharma, who's a 5th and 6th grade teacher, and Marichu Padilla, our Weller paraprofessional. So if we could have you come up along with your team and family members that you have up here. And team includes principal, assistant principal, and other team members from Weller. Come on up here. Here goes Ms. Padilla. And then with our family and team members.
Some people right in the back, right, please?
All right, the official one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Before you sit down, Ms. Sharma, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much, everyone. Really, really appreciate this. This is my 21st year with Milpitas and 19 years with Weller, and I absolutely love Weller, and that's my special place and makes me get up every morning and go to work and be happy over there. Thank you so much.
Ms. Padilla, love to hear from you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. I have been working at Weller for, I think, 3-4 years now, and Weller is my home school, so it's always my favorite place to work. Weller is my home school, so I live around Weller, and I've been serving Weller community for more than 13 years, I think. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Thank you. All right. Next, I would like to recognize Eunice Lee. We know her from before, where we know that she's been one of our Milpitas Elementary Olympics superstars, because it was there that she found her love for jump rope, and she is now has won her 5th U.S. jump rope championship. So I'd like to welcome you up.
You gotta be able to see your
I see Mr. Woolman there. Can you come on up? And Ms. Lee, we would love to have a jump rope demonstration sometime in the future. Okay, Eunice, before you sit down, we would love to hear what it feels like to win the U.S. Championship 5 times.
Oh, for me, it's unimaginable. It's unbelievable. I didn't know I would be here right now. So I'm Eunice Lee. I'm a 9th grader in Milpitas High School, and I'm a founder of Milpitas Jump Rope. And I'm so humbled and honored to be invited here today. Thank you so much to all the MUSD leaders. And so I started my jump rope journey in the MEO, in the Milpitas Elementary Olympics, in 2nd and 3rd grade. And so I competed in the jump rope competition, and I received 2 gold medals there consecutively for 2 years. And that is when I found my talent and my passion for jump roping. And so in April of 2022, I decided to make my own one-person jump rope team called Milpitas Jump Rope. And so I practiced every day, every year, at home in my backyard, and that has led me to become a 5 times national jump rope champion. Yeah. And there's actually many benefits for jump roping. According to research, just 10 minutes of jump roping can improve your cardiovascular health as much as 30 minutes of running. And so, it's actually really good for your health. But as of now, I'm the only person in the Bay Area who jump ropes competitively, and that means the jumpers population is endangered. And so, I need your support and your interest. And so I want to use my passion for jump roping to teach recreational music jump rope for teens in order to make a healthy MUSD teen community. And so if the Milpitas Teen Center or other community facilities are available, I'll be more than happy to teach teens outside of school as well. And so I really need your help and support in doing this together and growing together. Thank you so much.
We'll definitely make that happen. Thank you so much, Eunice. And next, we have our Weller Elementary PTA. If we could have our Weller Elementary PTA. And Principal Elsie, would you please say a few words about why we are honoring our Weller PTA this evening?
Come on. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you. I'm so excited that our PTA is being honored and was featured in the Milpitas Beat recently for all of your work in our community. Weller's PTA is absolutely phenomenal. I haven't had the opportunity to work with such a group that is so focused on students and family and wellness, and completely welcomed me into the community 5 years ago when I came, and it was just such a strong organization and what you guys do to bring our community together. I appreciate you, our teachers appreciate you, staff, and then the parents for sure. I think especially during COVID, it was such hard times and we were feeling so isolated, and all your efforts went above and beyond to bring people together, make them feel cared for, and that continues today. I never have to worry about, are we putting students first? And everything that you do brings all that fun and joy to school, and we need that. So I can't speak highly enough about you guys.
so much. Congratulations. Okay, no, not done yet. Okay. Oh. All right, I am very excited to bring up our Milpitas Science Olympiads team that put in many hours of time throughout the spring to prepare for the Milpitas Elementary Science Olympics that they put on and organized, and their teacher advisors were there for support if they needed it, but I'm told by Dr. Meyer that you did it all, and they just said, way to go. So I would like to invite all of you to come up. I have, and I'll need you to help me say your name correctly, Sagarika Gier. Owen Song. Darren Lamb. Ananya Gupta. An Nguyen. Eileen Nguyen. And Aditi Gupta. And after we take pictures, I would love to have one of you tell us about how you decided that you wanted to organize all this. And before you sit down, family members and Dr. Meyer and any other staff members I don't see. I see somebody's head there, but I don't know who it is. And Aditi?
Okay, so I just wanted to say that even though me and Saga directed it, it wouldn't have been possible without our entire Milpitas Science Olympiad team, especially on Owen, Ananya, Darren, and Eileen. We all stayed for hours and hours locked up in Dr. Meyer's room to make this happen. I think sometimes I was it's like a full-time job, 30 hours a week on top of school, just doing MISO. But it was really rewarding, 300 kids, all super passionate about science. It was great to see that all of our efforts were so fruitful. And I just wanted to add that when Dr. Meyer says she didn't do anything, that's a complete and total lie. Don't believe that. She literally helped us with everything, and we could not have done it without her or our other coaches, Miss Deep and Mr. Barrett, so thank you to them.
Thank you. And thank you for making a difference for 300 kids this summer. Thank you very much. Oh, sure. How about if you ask Trustee Norwood?
I want to be very thankful to the students and Dr. Meyer for the work that you guys have done with the Milpitas Elementary Science Olympiad, and that if there's ever a need of any adult volunteers to support your efforts, please let the board know when you would need that so that we could put the word out for you guys to get that support. So we really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Jordan. Yes, next on the item is the superintendent update.
Okay.
Close that loop.
I'm excited to share some milestones. Also, we'll be sharing some challenges that we need our community support on. First, a milestone. We have here some of our learners in our adult education program who celebrated Constitution Day. We do offer classes that are full, and actually our teacher, Ms. Jennifer Gagliardi, is known across the state for her work in developing citizenship courses. And these students are a part of that course, and as you can see, they're super excited about celebrating Constitution Day. I would also like to share our average daily attendance thus far since the first day of school, which was August 13th. And you can see that our overall MUSD average daily attendance is at 96.97. We want to get it at 97% and keep it there. Actually, we can always grow it from there. This chart shows the number of absences each day. The red is the total number of absences. The orange is excused absences, and I need to make sure people understand that even though the absence might be excused, it still does not count towards our average daily attendance. So these might be things like going for a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment. So those kinds of things that you can control, please do those after school. And then the bottom pink line are unexcused absences. And it is good to see the trajectory has been going down the last several days. This is our overall average daily attendance as of today, so it's by day. And you can also see that our enrollment as of today is 10,224. And today's average daily attendance was 98.13. I want to point out that we do maintain an online log of our public records requests, and these come with a lot of different types of requests. Generally, it's the kind of thing where entities want to know the compensation of staff members, and they post that for everybody. And sometimes we have more unique types of public records requests. Since the beginning of the school year, we've had 12. And I want to point out that one of those was a request for administrator stipends for the last 3 years. And I want to assure the board that we in executive cabinet are reviewing policies and procedures and making sure that all of our managers are following those when it comes to stipends that are not in a contract, either for classified employees or certificated employees, or in our case, administrators, that they make sure that they're following procedure. We also are going to write procedures and expectations for management stipends, which are very limited, and we'll put them in our Milpitas Management Association handbook, so it's very clear for everybody when those limited times might be that an administrator would have a stipend. And for all stipends that are not in the contract, we want to make sure that we have expected outcomes for the work, so a work product. And some examples of limited stipends for administrators might be grant funded. For example, we have an equity grant, and that funds stipends for our Culture of We Equity team, which is a team of about 9. And they do work for leadership as well as for their school sites, where they are focusing on our equity board policy and assuring that we are implementing that policy. And then we also have, as another example of a stipend, is our maintenance, operation, and transportation. We have 3 supervisors. They each receive a stipend for the year because they have times that they're on call 24/7. So again, it's very limited, the number of stipends that we do. And typically, if we do have anything, it's either funded by a grant, or in some very few cases, it's like the on-call or filling in for For example, we had 2 principals last year who taught a class because we didn't have a teacher. So it would be examples like that. I also want to give an update on our progress and work in learning about, leading, and also implementing artificial intelligence strategies in our work as well as in the classroom and instruction. And I want to point out that last week on Friday at the Silicon Valley Ed Foundation, Trustee Norwood, who sits at the state level on the AI Advisory Task Force for California School Boards Association, facilitated this talk, which had included on it our Milpitas Unified Teacher Leader, Victoria Salas Salcedo from Rancho Middle School. Victoria has been piloting and implementing AI strategies for the last 3 years in our classroom, and that makes her an expert. And this is her second panel that she's been on in the last couple months, and very proud of her and excited for what she's doing with our learners, both those in the seats as well as those in front of them. And another big milestone is that on Friday we also had our ribbon cutting for the Phase 2 opening of the Milpitas Unified School District Innovation Campus. This is most of the people who were there. Some of them escaped and didn't get their picture taken. And just really excited. You see, we have elected officials, we have Air alumni from when the campus used to be the Air High School. We have family members, we have students, teachers, chief of police, of course our board members, and many people who helped to make this happen. And you see above them, on the side of the building, Milpitas Unified School District build a culture of we. And while that is our first strategic goal, it is also a mindset. And I want to point out that when we have great things that happen like this, the culture of we is very evident. It also comes into play when we have challenges. So we have challenges. Very similar to the county of Santa Clara as well as the nation, since the very devastating school shooting it was in August, I believe, of school where there was another shooter and 4 people who lost their lives. Since then, across the nation, including in Milpitas Unified, there have been students who have determined that they would like to use the social media platform in order to create threats to school campuses. What Milpitas Police Department has shared with us is that it seems that the 2 motivating factors are: 1, they think that they're anonymous, that they will not be discovered. Well, that would be number 2, but number 1 is because they're looking to try and shut schools so that they can have a day off. And I want to make it clear, and all of our principals sent home messages last week, that if a student makes a social media threat towards a school, that we will, regardless of whatever is done on the police end of things, we will move that student towards expulsion. And another thing that's come to light in the last few days is that there is another, I don't know what to call it, I'll call it a trend, seems to be a TikTok thing, where students determine that they want to create fights, and sometimes they're called slap clubs or fight clubs, and they put these on the video for others to see, and that is not tolerated. We're not about violence. We are about making sure that all of our learners have safe and secure places to learn and to work. So as a community, as a culture of we need every single person to invest time in making sure that if they see something, they say something, and also making sure that our young people know that this is not the way to get attention. It's not the way to seek belonging or status or respect from your peers. There are many other ways to do that, and we celebrated some of our young leaders today tonight for the ways that they strive to give back, to fill their sense of belonging, and to lead. So as a community, we can assure and build forward so that we have safe and secure learning and working places. And that concludes my update for this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Jordan. Moving on to item 13, Superintendent's Executive Cabinet Reports. The members of the Executive Cabinet will have recent significant information to present to the Governing Board on topics that are not on the agenda. Reports are limited to 90 seconds each, with 5 minutes allocated for the principal's report.
Thank you, President No. And we will start with our principal's report. Tonight is all about Weller, and we have our Weller leaders and team members. And we met them throughout the recognitions, and we'll invite them to come on up, led by Principal Elsie.
I wanted to start, if it's okay, just to share a little bit about Mayor Chu and Juhi. I didn't do that before when we did the spotlight. So to start with Mayor Chu. Mayor Chu does so much. She's a big member of our PTA, but also an essential classified staff member at Weller. She works in one of our special day classes, and her care and love for the students, it goes above and beyond. And in addition to that, there's not a limit to what she does for our school site. I don't even know when you have free time, but it seems like every time I walk down one of our gorgeous hallways, Mayor Chu has recreated a bulletin board or something with positive messaging for the students and something to uplift them. She helps with sales after school for various fundraising efforts, all the bingo nights, the list goes on and on and on. And I just want to really say thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you. Juhi is one of our rock star teachers. She is seen as a leader amongst the entire staff, someone that everyone feels very comfortable going to for support. And I cannot thank you enough for that. Poor Juhi is on, I think, every team we have at Weller. She's on our instructional leadership team. She's the coordinator for our student success team. She helps do our 504 plans for students, even filling in for our MTA rep right now. It's just, you are an absolute asset to our community, and thank you so much for your leadership. So I just wanted to highlight you guys. And then we'll do our board report, and I'll stay within 3 minutes, Scott. We got it all planned out. Damon, Assistant Superintendent Damon James actually helped with our idea for tonight, so thank you for that. We were very lucky to have Mr. James come to Weller one day to help us at lunch, and he shared with me that he just felt like there was just such a great vibe at Weller, and that the kids were readily coming up and saying hello to him, and he thought that we should highlight like how we make connections at Weller, and it's one of our core values. So we thought it aligned really well with the strategic goal of identifying creative student-focused strategies to accommodate enrollment growth and ensure healthy environments. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Hello and good evening. At Weller, we are committed to creating connection among students. And so today was a great example of a coming together using circle practice, something that we advocate amongst our staff, something that we do together. We focus on communicating, helping students and staff communicate with each other. And the conversations that we have around using the restorative questions is inspiring.
We also started the school year in August, those days before our students arrived, as a staff, really being intentional and creating very personalized engagement plans for our families by grade level. So what are the needs that we're identifying in our community? How can we meet those needs by bringing family members in? And what events will we strategically plan for in semester 1 and semester 2? And then we're broadening our communication more and more, and one way we do that with families to keep them apprised to everything that's going on campus is our weekly newsletter. We call it the Mustang Express now this year, and I'm very thankful to all our family members that read it every week. It's a little lengthy, I'm working on that. But it's very comprehensive of everything that's going on at school.
When we were talking about connection, I realized we, meaning Deanna and I, take our teachers' lead oftentimes, and we witness every day our teachers using, greeting students by name continually throughout the day. So Deanna and I have a challenge for each other that we know everybody's name, all students' names, and that whenever possible we address them by name and greet them as well.
It's down to TK. We got to work on TK. They're our newest ones, but everybody else we're pretty good on. Yes, thank you, Mr. Ishjan. This year, we're also continuing our partnership with Soul Shop, which is just a phenomenal local organization that works on all things around student wellness. And they're helping us again this year to help kids with how to handle our emotions, how to work through conflicts with other. It creates a common language across the school. And we've expanded the program at Weller this year. I know it's at some other sites to involve the Peacemaker program. So that's really going to uplift student leadership at recess time and helping students lead each other in how to work through things when conflicts arise and how we can support each other on campus.
Hi. The PTA is full of committed and dedicated parents who just love to support Weller. And, you know, we feel that our mission is to put the students first, and we strive to have connections within the community by bringing the families onto campus more. And so we host a lot of events that are free to all of our Weller communities, such as the Spring Carnival and the Trunk or Treat. And then we also support a lot of activities like science camp and the commencement to try to include all students, regardless of their means. So I think that's one of the key ways the PTA formulates those connections.
So much for this opportunity, and being the new president of PTA this year, I feel already I started on a very good note of receiving an award for the team. The foundation is very strong, and I would like to continue the journey, taking this through the school year, supporting the community within the Weller, and making sure kids are supported well, Ms. Deanna and team are supported well. Where, as Tina called out all of the programs we lined up, I'm looking more and more corporate moms to chip in. And, I heard a lot of moms needed to volunteer, parents, I would say, not moms, but definitely that's one of the key things I would like to focus this year, how I can bring more parents to the community and be part of the ecosystem and drive the journey. So very thankful. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and Mayor Chu also makes spirit wear for our school and makes the PTA swag for us. I know, her list is never ending. Be a scroll. And all of this is also something that we're monitoring with a lot of our attendance tracking that we're doing throughout the year in the hopes of increasing attendance for students, and all of this will connect with belongingness as well on campus. Currently our attendance is at 96.69%, which is much higher than last year. We're continuing to grow, and then our best day so far was September 12th. We reached 98%. Yeah, so that's our report. Oh, we have a little video too. Yeah. One of our teachers just wanted to share an activity that she did that kind of shows our whole theme tonight of connection, and she was doing goal setting with students and mentoring, which is part of our gradient learning platform for our intermediate students. So it's very short. Okay, if there's no. Yeah. She's doing goal setting with the students. So on Mondays, we find ways, especially using thinking maps and other things, for students to set goals for themselves for the week of what they want to work on, how they're going to achieve those goals. So the specific format this time was kind of if, then, cause and effect statements. If I do this, then this will happen by the end of the week. And she was coaching them through that. our
Thank
report.
you.
Thank you for letting us
Thank
highlight
you.
Weller.
Board
Thank
President,
you for the team effort.
Board President, no question for, thank you for the report and the update on your attendance monitoring, how you guys are building, making connections, another form of how we say building a culture of with the seasons changing, and we know that every time the seasons change, there's a dip in attendance because of a variety of health reasons. Have you guys already begun to strategize out about how to convince kids and families to take better care of themselves as the winter time comes so that they can continue to come to school?
Yeah, we've been working especially with our teachers in the younger grades to how to support our families with attendance by just educating them on what our choices are, what our options are, if illnesses arise, or ways that we can try to curb that dip that we see sometimes in December. And then our culture and climate team is going to be meeting this week. But one area of focus the lead really wants to do is how can we build up the fun in those winter months as well that will attract students. They don't want to miss out on things. We've been doing some movies at lunchtime, and kids are really getting into that as an incentive. So we're trying to not only increase like the rigor in the classroom and in the engagement in learning, but also some of the joy and fun that will keep them coming as we educate families on our attendance policies and try to find through surveys and other things like that what needs might be out there that maybe we're missing that would help bring kids to school.
So that includes some sort of like healthy habits around hygiene and, those types of things like, if you sneeze, the whole, because they'll,
Yes.
and then, touch another kid right away, that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and then reaching out for resources as well. I know Nicole Stewart has helped us get resources for families on our campus. Robert Jung has as well. And then one of my high school buddies just reached out. He's a dentist. He wants to come and do presentations at school. So just trying to pull in as many resources as we can.
And that brings up a great point. Superintendent Jordan, are we still with the Healthier Kids Foundation? And are they at multiple schools or?
Yeah,
what
I'll
is?
ask Executive Director Dorpinghouse to share.
Yes, they are doing the mandated screenings for hearing and vision in K-2, 5, and 9. They are also doing the mental health screenings in grades 5. And so, yeah, they're definitely expanded across all of our district.
Thank you.
Just want to add a comment. I want to thank you for, especially the Weller PTA. You've reformed as a former Weller PTA president. I know how that is, how that works. So I want to thank you guys for stepping up. I also will encourage and continue to encourage your connections, which when I visited Weller just recently, I did feel that connections, and I want to give you guys kudos for that, but keep it up.
Thank you, trustees. Thank you, Weller team. And Superintendent Jordan, if you can have Scott email us that video afterwards so we can at least get to hear.
Sure.
That would be appreciated.
Yep. Scott, would you please share that with the board? The video that
After the meeting, just email us a copy of that Weller video, the one that we can hear the sound. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
And next we have our Assistant Superintendent of Human Relations, Mr. Damon James.
Good evening. The last time we were together, I mentioned that in HR, much of the work that we do is on the confidential side, and so when my colleagues present their information, I'm always a little jealous because some of the conversations we have with the board are in closed session. But I wanted to tell you that we don't just handle hiring, firing, and discipline in HR. We handle supporting employees. And so when an employee is interested in taking a leave, whether it's a medical leave, a personal leave, they come to the HR department and we work with them in supporting them on the leave. Now is the time. board that people are coming to us with leaves. Sometimes it's for pleasant things like expecting, and we get to have those conversations with them. We do that by planning it out with them, so we have a calendar in which we say this is how much leave you're entitled to based on your bargaining agreement, and then we meet with them and schedule out hypothetically what that time is going to look like. You all know when you're having children, it isn't always the date that you anticipate happening, but we
Never
do our
is,
best
right?
to support them. So we're working on that in addition to October 5th is our classified recruitment day with the Santa Clara County Office of Education. So recruiting is also part of what we do, so we're focused there as well. And we're also in negotiations with the California School Employees Association number 281. That concludes this report.
Thank you. Executive Director of Inclusive Learning Services for All, Mary Jude Dorpinghouse.
Good evening. So as mentioned by Principal Elsie, and Board Trustee Norwood, we are working on the culture of we all of the time in our district, and we continue to work on increasing our inclusive practices, increasing our awareness of circumstances that don't also foster that sense of belonging and that sense of inclusion. And this is particularly important for our students with neurodiversity or students with disabilities who are already addressing their own unique challenges for learning in school. And at times, bullying is something that does happen to our students, and it's not a childhood experience that all should have to go through. Research shows that bullying can negatively impact a child's access to education and lead to school avoidance and higher rates of absenteeism, lower grades, inability to concentrate, loss of interest in academic achievement, and also increasing dropout rates. In an effort to increase our inclusive practices as well as to reduce bullying, we are encouraging all of our sites and our PTAs to celebrate Unity Day on October 16th. We had a conversation at the last PTA Council, and we're hoping that each of the PTAs and the sites will embrace October 16th as Unity Day. It's a day where we encourage all to wear orange, to stand in unity for supporting all people and their differences and their unique abilities and just celebrating who they are as a person, and to be an upstander if you see bullying. So that day we're encouraging all to wear orange, to celebrate together in unity as a community. And so I will be bringing forth a resolution to the next board meeting for the board to consider a resolution making October 16th Unity Day in Milpitas. And let's send a message to all that we are a community of all, a culture of we, and we support all individuals just as they are. That concludes the learning and development report for this evening. Oh, wait, no, I lied. One other thing. I just wanted to let folks know that the Milpitas Inclusive PTA is growing and moving forward, and we will be hosting a special education parent coffee on October 3rd at 9:15. We will do that virtually to accommodate as many people who may be working and that type of thing. So October 3rd, for the coffee, and October 16th for Unity. Now that concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you. And our Chief Business Officer, Dorothy Ricadose.
Superintendent, before we move on, can we make sure that is that on the district calendar, the coffee, special education?
It will be later tonight.
And to invite board members if they're available. And then I would also ask our student board members to take the lead at the school sites with their respective campuses and communicating with the other schools about the Unity Day. And it will be great for you guys to come back with your next report to show how much orange that you guys were able to fester across your campuses and across the district with students.
And if you need help, let us know.
Thank you. That concludes the executive cabinet reports.
No, Dorothy.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
I'm okay.
Chief Business Officer Ricadose.
Okay, I guess I have to give one. Well, I want to piggyback on Executive Director Doppringhouse comment about the culture of we. In business services, sometimes, you know, it's so easy to felt silo because of the work that we do are always behind the scenes. So in business services, we actually sat down and looked at the district's strategic goals and figure out how do we tie the work that we do to support those strategic goals. And we found 2 of our goals that we can connect with, so to put more meaning into the daily grind that the staff are doing. So we're very excited about that. We looked at where we are right now and where we want to be by the end of the school year. So we'll constantly give you update on where we are on that. We started it, so we're very excited. And we'll give you update as we progress throughout the year. And the other report that I would like to give is that the review of the district's modernization eligibility with the school facility program was completed for the 23-24 school year. And this is our consultant, school facility consultant, which is our consultant, that's the name of their company, will submit the state allocation board form 50-03. That form is the form for determination of eligibility. So they will submit that. So we're waiting for any update from the state on how it's gonna come back to us. They submit those eligibility for Spangler, Zanker, Weller, and Cal Hills. And as soon as we get more information, I'll report back to you. That's my report for tonight.
Thank you, Dorothy, and thank you, Superintendent Jordan. Moving on to item 14, student board representatives and their school report. Student board reps will report on the school and student activities. Reports are limited to 90 seconds each. Scott, would you please introduce our student board reps?
With pleasure. We'll start with our Calaveras Hills High School student board rep, Maricela Gavidia, and she's going to give her report. Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm representing Calaveras Hills. I wanted to say that we just had our back to school night recently, where we had many students, families, and even former graduates come out. And we revealed our new logo and are now selling merch for it. So if anyone wants merch, I can probably talk to my teacher and get you some. But we have, there is a QR code. I didn't bring posters, but maybe next board meeting.
You can email it to Scott.
You have it, Scott? Ask Scott. And we revealed our new logo, and we had lots of food and music. And we're also having student council elections, so I'm actually running for class president against one of my best friends. So some things we're doing is promoting ourselves in person with posters and on social media. Progress reports were also done this week, and students and advisors are meeting to work on graduation plans, and parents are also being notified of academic achievements that their students are doing. So, and our Out to Lunch program is set to start in mid to late October. So for anyone who doesn't know, our Out to Lunch program is something we have at my school where district employees get to bring students to out to lunch once a month. I was in the program last year, and it was really cool being able to leave school to go eat at a real restaurant during lunchtime. And it's also a time for us to get to know and build connections with people from the district. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maricela. Next up, we have our MUSD Middle College High School Student Board Rep, Elijah Sandoval. Go right ahead.
Hello. So for my first announcement is our school is holding a school-wide field trip in early October, possibly around the 13th, where we'll visit the state capitol and UC Davis. While the visit to the state capitol ties with our seniors honors American government class, the highlight for other students will be the tour of UC Davis, letting us look into college life in a different environment, such as Sacramento. Next Friday, we're holding a student-led event focusing on artificial intelligence. A large percentage of students within MMCHS are interested in pursuing majors such as CS and are interested in the topic how AI will influence their future careers. As for our student leadership, our ASG meetings have been going smoothly. Our new president, has been working efficiently with both members of ASG and students willing to participate in exchanging ideas to build a more inclusive system. Her goal is to ensure every student has a voice and a role in shaping the school's culture, which has already been a positive impact on engagement. This week is Spirit Week also, led by SG. Today was Multicultural Day, and a lot of students participated, celebrating the diversity of our school. And working with Yearbook, we are gathering all students who participated and take pictures for each Spirit Day. For tomorrow, we're celebrating College Day, encouraging students to show off school spirit, and that is all wrapping up our week as the grading period ends this Friday too.
Thank you so much, and we have our Milpitas High School Student Board Rep, Mei Chung. Go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Mei and I represent Milpitas High School. So this Thursday is back to school night. Teachers will have tables on the green from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and we're gonna have food trucks, student performances, and most importantly, a place where students' parents can meet their staff. And this week is probably the second biggest week of the year because it's homecoming week. During homecoming week, we have a Spirit Week to encourage active participation in school culture and to build anticipation for other events. The days can be as simple as school colors or something more abstract, like soccer mom versus barbecue dad. So next Thursday, October 3rd, will be our annual homecoming festival. We have many vendors, both student-led, such as Charmed, where they sell handmade jewelry, or our outside partners like IT, who will be supplying food, as well as performances from clubs like Viese and Puso, and a lot of times like alumni will come back and they'll perform like bands and stuff. The day after, Friday, October 4th, will be the homecoming rally during school. And then there will be a parade during lunch, and then another parade at night along with the football game. Lastly, the thing that everyone's looking forward to, our homecoming dance on Saturday, October 5th. Our homecoming theme is Kirby's Dream Land. This is also the final week of Powerpuff Championship, which is girls football and boys cheerleading. Each grade has their own team to inspire some friendly rivalry. On a similar note, Rowdy Rough signups have started. Rowdy Rough is boys volleyball competition between all the classes. Similar to Powerpuff, boys play volleyball and the girls get to coach them. And then last weekend, our school went to the Children's Moon Festival, where VSA Club competed with other schools. They gave a performance that combined traditional dances like fan dancing and cheerleading-like stunts. And I'm excited to say that we got first place. Nice. However, our school doesn't always live in a self-contained vacuum where we can celebrate all of these really nice things that we all have. And a lot of times we have to address issues that proliferate our lives outside of school. This week, we're commemorating Banned Book Week by putting our banned books on display and taking pictures of students holding their favorite banned books with a "Caught Reading Banned Books" sign. This is to bring attention to the fact that books across the nation were banned and continue to be banned to limit the freedom to read and gain information. Over 4,000 book titles were banned in 2023. Books like 1984, Heartstopper, Kite Runner, Hunger Games, and many more. Our school is so privileged to have many of these books available at our school library, and we hope to give all schools the same privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, Student Board Reps, for your reports. Moving on to item 15, Board Group Agreements. We'll start down at the end with our Student Board Reps with number 1.
Keep learning and achievement for all students as the primary focus.
Ask questions for our own understanding to make an informed vote.
Be open and honest with each other.
No surprises includes unapproved communications with law enforcement, news media, regional elected officials on behalf on behalf of the district and/or board.
Be aware that our behavior in the community reflects on us as a governance team.
Communicate proactively with each other about topics, questions, and challenges in open session and in advance of public board meetings in compliance with the Brown Act.
Participate in professional development and commit the time and energy necessary to be an informed and effective governance leader.
And actively support the culture we in action, earnesty, and opportunity to serve the students and parents, caregivers of the Milpitas Unified School District. Item 16, board communication requests. This part of the agenda provides school board members the opportunity to report on their activities as elected representatives. School board members may request the placement of items in future board agendas, relay information from the community, or request information for staff. Reports are limited to 90 seconds each, and we'll start with Trustee Norwood.
Thank you, President No. In addition to the opportunity to work with CSBA on student board member development, networking, as well as training school board members throughout the state on the effective governance and setting the direction as school board members, I have the opportunity to participate in the Silicon Valley Education Foundation Second Education Policy Summit, where I got a chance to speak with Brandon Middleton from Stanford University and Nancy, I can't remember her last name, from Stanford National Student Support Accelerator, as well as our own middle school educator, Victoria Salcedo, on the topic of AI. And today, the Milpitas Unified School District had the opportunity to, with its supervisor, Otto Lee, be at the county office of the Board of Supervisors and meet with the Ukraine delegation that was here to garner support and encouragement in terms of what they're going through. It was a really humbling experience to be with the Ukraine delegation this morning as they were talking about war, and we talk about declining enrollment in terms of, and they were talking about people coming home from the front lines, missing limbs, where we're talking about chronic absenteeism. So it was a really humbling experience today to hear some of the concerns that are happening around the world and the fact that we have to be aware of the privilege and the opportunities that we have to serve in our community. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Norwood. Trustee Zhang.
Thank you. So I'll keep it short as well. I just want to leverage or just piggyback on what Mr. Norwood says. In the work that we do around McKinley-Vento, we are actually seeing the impact of Ukraine refugees coming into our community. So while we may think it is many, many miles away, it does have an impact on our community as well. My second item is actually I was privileged and I am happy that I was able to take several of our lead administrators to the University of the Pacific, where I am on the Dean's Council, to give our team a vision, some inspiration around their college-level makerspace, as well as our Media X. And I'm hoping that those will be ideas that we will create or recreate here for our students. And I thought it was a great time. I appreciate all the participants. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Zhang. Board Clerk, Dr. Naka.
Good evening, everyone. I had the opportunity to be able to address the NJROTC cadets during 9/11 for the fallen, and also got an opportunity to be part of the back-to-school breakfast at Santa Clara County School Boards Association. And Calaveras Hills High School had the back-to-school night where they had revealed their new logo, which was pretty nice. I love the Mustang. And MUSD's Innovation Phase 2 soft opening that alongside my board members and the community, I was honored to be out there. And part of some of the community events that I was at, Rotary and Chamber of Commerce meetings and Mixer. The Lantern Festival to celebrate the Moon Festival, part of the cultural diversity of our city. And Great Mall 30-year anniversary as well. That was really, a nice event to be out there to learn more about our community involvement. and Confucius Memorial Ceremony alongside my colleague board members. A few of our teachers were recognized for their amazing work as part of the Teachers' Day. So, and looking forward to attending more events and be part of the community. So, and that concludes my report. Thank you, President. Now.
Thank you, Board Clerk Dr. Naka. Board Vice President Kelly Upshawn.
Thank you, President No. Yeah, I'm just going to keep mine short as well. I had the privilege of attending the Ukraine delegation reception. It was more like a round table because we sat around and we had 3 different other school districts there, and we discussed about the challenges of education here in the U.S. And you know, towards the end, we all agreed that the U.S. and other parts of the world, we're all having different challenges in education, and we're all trying to figure it out, this moving target. So it was a very humbling experience, and yeah, it was great to be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Yashwan. And I just have a request for Superintendent Jordan. We heard a public comment earlier from the Milpitas Athletic Booster Club. I would like to agendize a report on the follow-up with the Milpitas High School Athletic Booster Club to hear the updates, plus their mission and goals and what they want to achieve for the year. I know that public comments does not allow us as a board to engage, but as a report, it allows us the opportunity to have a little bit more open dialogue.
Sure.
Thank you, Superintendent Jordan.
I just had a question. Can I ask you guys real quick?
Yes, you can make a comment.
Can I make a comment? Okay. We missed something about the Booster Club, that we give out donations. We give out scholarship that was never talked about for our children. That's why it's so important as parents, we get more parents to help volunteer into that department. So that's something I wanted to mention, that's not out there yet.
Great, thank you. Moving on to item 17, reports. Business services, the developer fee annual public report for 2023 to 24.
Thank you. So tonight, I want to present the board our annual developers fee report. Developers fee is a charge per square foot on residential and commercial construction within a school district. These fees charge both the developers of new properties and to the owners of the property who are remodeling. These are based on the premise that new construction will lead to additional students, and individual school district can decide whether to levy the fees at what rate up to the maximum allowed by the law. Proceeds may be used for building or renovating schools and for portable classrooms. For the 23-24, or in all years, our the developers fee that we collected goes into Fund 250. It's called Capital Asset. And we charge about $5. We are at level 1 based on our, what do you call that study, Superintendent?
The developer fee study?
The developer fee study. We are at level 1. We charge $5.17 per square footage of the accessible space for residential, and we charge 84 cents per square footage accessible space for commercial. We currently do not qualify for level 2, which is a higher rate for residential, because we don't meet 2 of the 4 criterias right now. But at level 1, we are charging the maximum allowable that we can charge. Our income right now, or in 23-24, we receive about $296,000 in interest of the funds that are currently sitting in Fund 250, and we collected about 137,000. We do have some administration fee of 44,000 and other professional services of 225 and some construction testing of 17,400. So our total expenditure is 286,000 and we have a balance of 8.7 million in Fund 250.
Hey, Dorothy, can you explain that construction testing from an expenditure standpoint? Or could you elaborate on that?
The construction testing?
Yeah.
So if we do have modernization or renovation that we, not modernization, but renovation that we need to do, sometimes we do have to go out for different testing. It could be soil or it could be wall or lead testing, all those type of things before we proceed into doing any construction. That we have to hire somebody to do it for us.
So what is professional services? Because that's a pretty big expense item.
So professional services, it could be repairs for renovation. If we have some sites that we see that we need some renovation that qualifies for capital for this fund, for the developer fee, then this is where we charge. This is one way for us to utilize the funds instead of using our general fund dollars or our building fund. And if we know if it qualifies for this fund, then we would like to use this fund rather than using other funds that has much higher needs.
And I think last year, one of the costs that we had, or that might have been the year before, was that stair case over at the high school where we had to repair. I believe that was before you had gotten here. That may be associated with, because developer fees are for ongoing projects for our school sites, and bond funding is for new projects, or bond is for both maintenance and new.
Bond is for modernization or brand new. And yes, the third thing you said, maintenance. Maintenance is building fund.
Okay.
Did you talk about what the two requirements for the level 2 that we don't meet are?
So the four criterias is that we have to be at least 40% of the district's pupils are enrolled in multi-track year-round school, and we don't have a year-round school. So that's one of the requirements that we don't qualify. The second one is that the district has placed on the ballot in the previous 4 years of local general obligation bond to finance school facilities and measure receive at least 50% plus one of the votes cast. So that one we qualify because we didn't put in any bond measure or any measures last year. So we qualify for that one. So we're 1-to-1. The third one is that the district has issued debt or incurred obligations for capital outlay at a certain percentage. So we do qualify for that because we had an existing bonds, which is a debt that the community is paying for us. The last one is at least 20% of the teaching stations within the district are relocatable classrooms, meaning portables. And we are not at that 20%. We don't meet that 20%. So we have to qualify for more than of the two, and that's why we can't move up to level 2. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the question.
Is there anything else?
If there's no other questions, I'd like the board to accept the developer fee report for 23-24. It's actually just a report, sorry.
Yeah,
No action needed.
No action needed. Any additional questions, board members? No? Thank you so much for the report, Dorothy. Item B, Learning Development, Project Cornerstone Report and Summary.
Good evening again. So this evening, I will be having Dr. Vanessa Speedy and Director Debbie Headley from Project Cornerstone You guys can come up while I do a little intro here. Project Cornerstone's been supporting our district for several years now. And this evening, they will be co-presenting and sharing an overview of the services and programs that Project Cornerstone can provide, as well as, and they do that through an MOU agreement that we have currently. They also will be sharing the impact report, so what is happening what are the positive outcomes that are happening as a result of this program being on our campus? And then lastly, they will be sharing some data from last year's 23-24 school year. So with that introduction, I will turn it over to Dr. Espedia and Ms. Headley.
And Mary Jude, they will be telling us which campuses they are at?
Yes, they will go through all of that.
Okay, awesome.
Good evening. I'm Debbie Headley. I'm the School Partnerships Director at Project Cornerstone. Thank you so much for inviting me tonight to share information about Project Cornerstone and how we partner together with the Milpitas Unified School District. Project Cornerstone is an initiative of the YMCA of Silicon Valley. And to give you a sense of our reach and impact, last school year we partnered with over 180 schools throughout the Bay Area, and we are expanding to partner with schools outside of our area throughout the nation and even internationally. We also, through our school programs, reached over 62,000 students last school year with the help of over 4,000 parent volunteers implementing our school programs and volunteering in classrooms. And Project Cornerstone is so thrilled to have a longstanding partnership with Milpitas. We have an MOU with you, which is what we call an all-inclusive MOU, which means that all of the programs and services offered by Project Cornerstone are included in our partnership agreement. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of our programs and services, and everything you hear tonight is available and accessible to all the schools in your district. So Project Cornerstone partners with schools in three main areas. We engage with students through our school programs. We work with parents and community members in a variety of ways, and we also engage with staff members through staff professional development trainings. So our school programs range from preschool through middle school. Our preschool program is a one-year bilingual program. We have a two-year bilingual program for TK and kindergarten students. We have two options for elementary school students, our ABC, or Asset Building Champion program, and our Los Dichos program. Both of those programs are a three-year curriculum. ABC is focused on the themes of inclusion, empathy, and being upstanders. And our Los Dichos program is our bilingual English and Spanish program focused on positive cultural identity. All of our preschool through elementary school programs are focused on specially selected children's literature. So we use children's books, and Project Cornerstone designs and develops lesson plans differentiated by grade level. And oftentimes, especially in our elementary programs, it's parent volunteers that come into the classrooms about once a month, read the specially selected book, and lead a lesson and activity with the students. We also offer a middle school social emotional learning, or SEL program. This program is not around children's books, but it is around developmentally appropriate topics, and we have a prepared slide deck that includes engaging student activities and high interest video clips around topics such as stress management and managing emotion, boundaries and expectations, peer pressure, digital citizenship, all of those great things. We also offer a program called Expect Respect, which is for 4th through 8th graders, and that is a student leadership program where a specially selected group of students, about 20 to 30 students, meet for a 3-hour workshop with one of our staff members at Project Cornerstone, and they learn about creating a positive school climate and bullying prevention, and they work with a staff advisor, and it's a kickoff situation where the students are then creating an action plan to roll out to the rest of the school. All of our programs are considered to be an MTSS Tier 1 support for all students, where we build a common language and common skill building. And that's our school programs. Our parent and community member opportunities include giving parents a unique and special opportunity to volunteer in classrooms through Project Cornerstone, and Project Cornerstone trains the parent volunteers to do that. And we also offer a wide range of parent workshops. And both of those opportunities are wonderfully unique and often are ways to support LCAP goals of parent engagement. And then we run staff professional development opportunities also for school staff members. If we can go to the next slide, please. All of our programs and services are aligned to the frameworks of CASEL, which is the Collaborative for Academic, Social, Emotional Learning. This is the preeminent organization that does all things SEL. So all of our curriculum is aligned to the 5 core competencies of SEL. And we also align to Search Institute. They're a research-based organization outside of Minneapolis that has done decades of research and have developed 2 frameworks called the developmental assets and the developmental relationships. You can give the next slide. I don't know if my slide advancer is gone. Thank you so much. And here's some district data. This is data coming out of last school year. So here you can see the schools in the district that participated in one of our school programs. Randall Elementary School right here is a super strong and active partner who has implemented Los Dichos for many years. You can see by the data that they engage a lot of parents on campus to run and facilitate the programs. Russell Middle School is using our middle school SEL program, and you can see that their staff members are the ones that are teaching the lessons to students. And then we also have an elementary school. It looks like they have just one, there's a lot of options how you can do it, but one staff member can be reading books and leading lessons to a larger group of students. So those are the schools that are currently using our school programs. And on the next slide, you see what workshops took place last school year. So we offered 2 workshop sessions on an introduction to developmental assets in Spanish. And we offered a Take It Personally workshop series, which is a 6-week series where a group of parents come for 6 consecutive weeks. It's an amazing program. And we had, on average, 11 parents each week. And then we also had students participating in that Expect Respect workshop here at Randall. Next slide gives you just a little overview of our parent workshop menu. We can offer workshops in person at a school site or virtual on Zoom. We offer facilitation in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, and you can do a single session topic or a series of workshops. And finally, the next slide shows the options for staff professional development opportunities. I'm going to turn it over to Vanessa to share what our plans are moving forward and what we've put in motion so far this year.
Yes, thank you. So I came to know Project Cornerstone when I was assistant principal at Senate. I was sitting there on the computer and researching all of our programs that we could use, and that's why you see Senate up there. One of the things we did when we were at Senate is we tried to have the books in place virtually, which is why we didn't have a lot of parents at the time. But we also were able to do the staff professional development, which you see here. We were able to train our campus monitors and have the executive director at the time, I think she's still director, ZM, come out to our site at Senate and be able to provide them with some, which one was it? I think building assets relations on the playground, the first one. So that was a great way for us to give them some professional development. We did that, I think, in 2022. And then you see there's other ones here. So one of the things that we're doing now with this is we have put it out to our site admin and our principals, and to see, we have 5 schools, new schools interested. I will say 6 because CDC is also taking part now for the preschool program. And so what we're going to do then is Debbie and I have met 3 times already, also with our community liaisons, and we're going to then go to next steps, which is the planning implementation of the program. As you saw, there's many options we can do. We've been kind of using our liaisons to kind of get their feedback on how our communities, Vietnamese and Spanish, might want to have these professional developments, the parent workshops, which is on the previous slide. And that's something that we want to bring to, thank you right there. Yes, so the formatting, as you see, we have various options. It can be in English, Spanish, Vietnamese. It can be in 2 languages at once. It can be virtual, it can be in person, it can be in the morning, afternoon, we can provide childcare. So there's so many different things. And the menu of the workshops too, it's kind of small here, but there's a lot of good ones. Inclusion is on here as well. So a lot of the things that we're already currently doing, we can bring and enhance. And again, we've had this partnership with Project Cornerstone for quite a while. Other districts have utilized it, and so we're really trying to maximize our partnership this year, right, Debbie? That's what we've been working on these past 6 weeks or so. So that's Project Cornerstone. And maybe Weller's interested too? 7.
All right.
Any questions, board members?
Actually, I wanted to, in terms of parent engagement, the numbers were, I mean, relatively low, right? Do you have a specific goal of getting more parents to share? And do you have a plan or strategies on how to get more parents involved in this? Because I did Project Cornerstone many, many years ago, and I'm familiar with it. And one of the biggest challenges I've always seen is while we can get our students there, we rarely get our parents there, right? So, can you speak to that, please?
Sure. So as you know, we've had this partnership for a while, and that's one of the struggles. And we did go through COVID, so that's why the numbers are low. But one of the things that we're doing differently with this partnership, and as we're reaching out directly to school sites, which we did. And so the school sites definitely know their families and their parents. And with that, and also the community liaisons, they want to do personal outreach to families that we actually want to target and have join some of our parent workshops. So that's a way also to bring them in, to really have that personalized touch, to really then look for the parents that maybe already were on campus or want something extra to do. I will say at the CDC when we put it out there, we had many of grandparents that said, I'm already fingerprinted, can I come over? And so that's for the preschool monthly read alouds. So it's really just getting to know on a smaller level our families, because it is a commitment, right? They do have to be at the school site, but they do get to get their eyes in the classroom and they get to be on campus and get that level of involvement. And it really is low stakes. I went to the first training online for the book series that's on here, and it's pre-recorded. You can watch it at your own pace too. And you get the book and you get to go in there with low stakes. And so I think what we need to do is just, one of the biggest things I did was put it out to the principals so that they kind of know their community. And the next steps for Debbie and I would meet with them next week, actually on Thursday, and figure out how do we target the families, because we do have a minimum we need at our workshops in order to have these going. I believe it's how many? 15. And it sounds like a small number, but like you said, it's actually quite a commitment, right? And it goes all throughout the school year. So we definitely understand that it's going to take partnership, right? So that's one of the different things I think we're doing, is going to sites like Weller, who know their whole community, and saying which families, which parents would want to.
Right.
And hopefully have competition over who wants to come every month and read those books to the kids. So that's kind of what we've been starting with this year. Instead of just putting out there like as a whole district blast, hey, do you want to sign up? Kind of be more personal. Milpitas touch.
Got it.
I guess I would ask, knowing that we just recently we approved our new LCAP, and we agreed that from our LCAP, we should see the SIPSs from the school sites reflected around parent engagement. You have the opportunity, working with the principals, to look at their school site plans and identifying what are the activities for parent engagement based on the LCAP, and then determine where there's a fit so that it becomes something that's part of the solution tree versus adding something new, where you're really not adding something new because they have the requirements in the school site plans that they've created and the LCAP that's been adopted by the board. I guess I would ask, why didn't you take that approach in your response in terms of how to get the students engaged when we have that infrastructure already in place?
Why did I?
So I know Vanessa, so just for the record, right? And I'm always, Dr. Espedia, excuse me, right? Dr. Espedia, right? And I know that much she cares
I can't
about.
hit a free throw. Yes, I know. Yes, no, so I think it goes back to, looking at it as a whole. Like when I saw this, I'll be honest, the partnership that we had, I didn't know it was open. I thought it was just targeted to one school. I thought it was just targeted to the programs, the Randall that was using it at the time. This is in the middle of distance learning, when I realized it was a whole opportunity for all of us, I think it goes by word of mouth, but I also think that personalized touch, we want to make families invested and connected. And the best way we're going to get there at the micro level is going to the school sites and to those teachers and to those administrators that really take the time to get to know our families. I think that's how you pull people in and you have the commitment for them to be there with you. I think when you put it out at surface level, I don't think you get as much commitment, and this requires a commitment. We really want it to be the same volunteers, it doesn't be parents, coming in every month, right? And so I think that's one of the things that I saw. How are we going to get that consistency in families, and also how are we going to target our families? Like you said, school sites know who they want to target, hopefully, like the types of families that they're not able to engage in other ways. This is another modality for them to call them over, to have them come into the classrooms or come on campus for another reason. So I think that it just gives another opportunity, and I really thought that going at the site principals, that I definitely, as being at Senate, knowing even at a large school like Senate, your community, your families, like you want to call on them, like, hey, come join us. I think that level of touch and relationship is really important to make this grow, that we already have it going. We've had it going for many of years. So I think for me, it was just trying to dive deeper into our connections with our families at our sites, which I know sounds kind of simple, but it is a hard thing to do, and we have to make sure we put effort into it. And so
I would just piggyback on that too, because as we think about engaging with our site leaders, they know their SIPSA plans, and those SIPSA plans are connected to the LCAP. So they know what they need at their sites, and they know their students. And so being able for Dr. Espedia to connect with them, then they say yes. Like she just looked back, and there was no hesitation back there, right? They know how this can fit into the work that they're already doing. So I do think that that personalized touch is actually really helpful, because then it allows site administrators to say, this is exactly what we need to meet this goal of our SIPSA, and this is what our parents are saying and our PTA and are feeling together. So you're blending and braiding those opportunities with the needs from the sites.
Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources, Damon James.
I just wanted to add the consistency of language and the asset building portion is what I remember most about Project Cornerstone. And so yes, the specific activities that they talked about are important, but what's even more important is that the tenets of Project Cornerstone bleed through all of the other parent groups that we have. So it isn't just about the PTA or the school site council or the boosters. It's also about all of those parents that have come up before this board to be recognized with their students for STEAM activities and projects, and all of the extra Science Olympiad, Milpitas Elementary Olympics, all of those asset building activities can be done through those entities as well. So we have many more parents involved in our school system than maybe it seems based on the presentation. And so now we take all of those parents and we train them in this asset building so that we build a better district.
So that sounds like the boosters have an opportunity to go through parent engagement in terms of asset building as well.
Mm-hmm. Any parent or community member within your district can participate in the workshops or volunteer in a classroom as a reader or a facilitator.
Thank you.
I just want to step back from my understanding, because I'm not as familiar with Project Cornerstone. Is this an after-school program, or is this done during instruction time? Again, just taking a step back from a base structural understanding.
Yeah, great question. So the difference depends on the programming. So the ones for the students is all done during the school day. So those are the books, Los Tichos and ABC in the preschool. Those are all done during the school day. So the volunteer would come to the classroom during the school day to do the lesson and read the book with the students and go over that. The professional development, that's a tricky one. It depends on when we can get that in. Damon knows that. So when we did it for our campus monitors at Senate, we had, I think, we had it right before school started, so we had to really front load that the prior year to get it going. So really target when we can get those people to have that training. And then the parent workshops are the ones that are unique, where they can be whatever we think is most fitting for our families. So Debbie's like, you can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening, you can do it in the afternoon. So many options. So it really what made it hard to make a decision. You know, for me, a universal decision is like, no, I really want to go and figure out what our families need and then go talk to people to figure that out, right? If we're going to do these workshops, you want families to come and want to make it work for them and their schedules. So that's why we went to our liaisons to kind of figure that out. What do you think some of your families, the site admin, if they're going to host it, well, you know, what do you think would make sense for you? For childcare, is it better to have while the kids are at school in the multi-use room or after school? So there's a different ways you could do it. And I think that's why it went back to finding, talking to people in our district to figure out what's going to work so we get the most people joining these different workshops. So the students are during the day, no extra for the students. And then the adults, it kind of depends on what works for their schedules and for ours. But Debbie is very flexible. She made me give me too many options, so.
And it can look different. What the beauty of it is that because we're working with individual school sites now at this phase, it can look different at one school site versus another school site. So we might have one principal who says, I'd really like to do this connected to, say, a principal's coffee in the morning after school drop-off. And another site might say, I'd really like to offer this in the evening and provide dinner and childcare. So it's very flexible based on what that particular community, where we think will really draw people in.
Thank you for that. The reason I asked is certain school sites, they don't have space and facilities depending on the time of day because it's all booked up by other programs. And thus the challenge, right, to get people coming together because the parents are split amongst the different programs.
Right. So one of the things I would love to do with that ribbon cutting is go right to the center of our district, which is the Innovation Campus, find space over there somewhere to have these, right, you know, why do families, we want them to come to the new center, they can get to the ribbon cutting, come for one of these professional developments or one of these parent workshops, right? So it'd be great to go there. I know rooms are limited, but we would love to find space there and to perhaps have one there as well at some point throughout the school year.
You could also check in with adult ed because a lot of the parents there you maybe already have. And then I know that with the Take It Personally, that was in Spanish. And then with Los Dichos, the two commonalities I saw with those groups of parents was that they formed friendships with each other and they enjoyed being in each other's company. So that maybe if there's a couple parents that principals see regularly connecting with each other at school, that could be the beginning, the seeds.
Yep.
And from a workforce development program, does professional development fall under that bucket?
Yes, because workforce development is about creating your learning and pathways. So definitely, are you thinking for our workforce development center when that's built that could be a place?
There's
Yep.
a synergy opportunity
Yep.
with that.
Especially on those workshops I saw that were aimed towards how do you take care of ourselves, those kinds of things. Mm-hmm.
Board members, any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Item C, Human Relations, the summer and hiring update.
Thank you, President No. Joining me is Kristen Stonehouse, Director of HR.
Hello.
Cue presentation. Thanks. So our purpose tonight is to provide the board with an update on summer hiring. So even though we're well beyond the summer, we're still hiring, particularly for classified positions. So this is going to give you a breadth of what we did and what we are currently doing.
Next slide. So
So we're really just kind of giving you a roadmap to what we are doing in HR and kind of the time frame that we do it in. We're going to first outline our hiring process and then talk about our hiring opportunities, what opportunities we take advantage of, what opportunities we're using that are offered to us, and what opportunities we're actually making for others to come to us. Then we're going to talk about our hiring strategies through various fairs that we take advantage of, various opportunities that are offered to us through the universities and the colleges in our area. Next slide. So this is a snapshot at the timeline for kind of our hiring and recruiting season. So you can see for classified hiring, it is year-round. That means that we have classified staff being hired year-round and also resigning year-round. So it's very cyclical. So we are constantly recruiting, we're constantly posting, we're constantly offering proficiency exams, and that process really never ends. The certificated hiring is a little bit more concentrated. We actually start planning in end of January, beginning of February, for all of those the recruiting season, which is March through August. So we really keep recruiting all the way through August. And for our management hiring season, it is more January through end of September.
That's been the trend.
Yes.
See, just time check for our student board reps, it is past 9, so if you are free to be excused, but you're also welcome to stay as well. Go ahead.
Okay. Next slide. So this talks about some of the strengths. We are combining virtual and in-person strategies. Some recruitment fairs, the smaller universities, are still virtual, and so we are actually taking advantage of those as well as the in-person ones. So some of the larger universities and our County Office of Education offer in-person recruitment fairs or hiring fairs. We are also taking advantage of adult ed. They are having a recruiting fair or hiring fair coming up next month. And also, as Damon said earlier, the County Office of Education has a hiring fair October 5th, I believe. We are offering classified proficiency exams, and those are for all qualified applicants. They, for various positions, need to pass a proficiency exam for that particular classification. Then we are doing interviews, both in person and virtual. The in-person ones are usually for our management positions, and we are largely virtual for classified and I believe certificated as well. We are building collaborative relationships with our unions, and we are really working hard at doing that. We have seen so much improvement over the last few years and really grown that relationship and really cultivated it. We are looking at various hiring or various trends, whether it be hiring trends or in different classifications, both certificated and classified. And we are anticipating the hiring needs so that we can kind of plan out when we do our hiring fairs, what hiring fairs we attend, and what other strategies we're implementing. We're offering competitive salaries, and I will leave it at that. Our site and department leaders are really involved in the interview and hiring process. So we have streamlined our interview process to involve a panel with the hiring manager as well. And then after the actual interview, we are collaborating with that hiring manager and involving them in the rest of that process. We are offering a teacher residency program, so we are collaborating with San Jose State University and Santa Clara University, and that's it. For teacher residency programs, This year, we actually, with just one, with San Jose State University, through one program, we have 16 residents that we are leading a consortium with and providing training for them, and 8 of them are with MUSD. So the other 8 are with, spread out through Alum Rock, Redwood City, and Campbell.
And essentially, a resident is a student teacher who is learning how to be a teacher, but also is connected to one of our teachers, well, for our folks, is connected to one of our teachers and shadows that teacher. In most classes, the students refer to that resident teacher as a teacher. So if it was Mr. James, they would call me Mr. James, and I would be treated just as the classroom teacher. And then through the evolution of the process of being a student teacher, they gradually take over. So initially as a resident, you're watching and observing, and maybe you're helping with answering little questions, questions where a student could say, hey, I just need help here, and then the resident teacher could come over, to eventually the resident teacher taking over if it's secondary and teaching a period or two, if it's elementary, teaching half of the day or the complete full day. And then what's beautiful about it is that our resident teachers at the very end of the school year, they have hiring rights after our internal candidates. So before we look outside, we look at our resident teachers, of those that were with us for that year, and we have residents in multiple subject elementary, multiple subject bilingual. We have availability in multiple subject bilingual, and then ed specialists, which is special ed. So it could be special ed with the CDC program, Vanessa's program, Dr. Espedia. It could also be the mild mod or extensive support needs classes, and it could be anywhere from elementary all the way to, technically post-secondary. So we're really happy we've hired a few of our resident teachers from the past, and we were able to see one of them go through our induction ceremony last year. So it's been a really nice investment, and I speak to it because it is a lot of HR time in planning and attending the meetings and working with San Jose State, and also there are some in-kind responsibilities, meaning that there are other people, special ed department, that needs to also participate in professional development, working with the college to make sure that these resident teachers are right for our teaching positions. So it's a strength because we're bringing in teachers that we've been able to help grow through the early process of being a teacher. That means that we don't have to reteach things that they were possibly taught at the collegial level.
So I guess my question is, do we have enough data, and I'm assuming this is relatively new, but how many of our resident teachers have we actually hired over the, I don't know how many years we've been doing?
So off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but I can tell you that there are 4 that are employed currently. Our numbers are small, so the first year we had 5 resident teachers for multiple subject bilingual, and we had 2 for the ed specialist. We would have hired all of them. There were a few that relocated the following year. It was roughly the same. I think it was 4 and 2. And sometimes, just with all programs, university programs, sometimes through this process, you realize that the pathway that you're seeking isn't quite the pathway that you want to complete. And so sometimes that happens. We have people that join a program and then they realize, oh wait, I didn't really want to be a teacher. Maybe I want to be a paraprofessional. I like working with students and I like supporting them, but I don't want all of the other pieces that are connected. And so they sometimes make changes in their pathway.
No, I understand that. Now, you said we have two universities that we participate.
So we
with?
only partner with San Jose State University. The Santa Clara County Office of Education also has residency programs that are available. And so when we get to our renewal portion of time, we can consider also joining another consortium, which could be, so for example, the Santa Clara County Office of Education has a TK program, so we could potentially join the TK program.
Okay. Thanks.
And just so you know, Juhi Sharma, who was up here earlier, she's one of our mentor teachers. So she does a phenomenal job. Teacher induction program. So we offer our own teacher induction program. Kim Nguyen, our TOSA, walks them through that program. Some of the opportunities that we are using are, we have year-round classified recruiting. We are always looking for different recruitment fairs, but also what opportunities can we create to bring in applicants? So we are constantly brainstorming, constantly thinking outside the box, and it's not just Damon and I, it's our whole HR team. We have huddles, routine huddles in the office, and sometimes they're planned, sometimes they're impromptu, and our staff has great ideas that we are actually implementing. We have creative recruiting. We have, like I said, recruitment fairs. Some are close and some are farther away. We have in-house hiring fairs. I mentioned Adult Ed is offering one at the district office next month. Just through community exposure. So we're taking advantage of some opportunities to put our name out there and let the public know that we are hiring, whether it be job posting boards, various job posting boards, or signage at stores, Great Mall for one, and taking advantage of the district social media platforms that we have. So shout out to Scott for working with us and creating those flyers and posts. We are creating pathways. So right now we have, we have campus monitors who are getting the chance to work out of class being a paraprofessional, finding out that they like that and creating that opportunity for them to transfer or apply for that position.
Can I?
Yes.
And then just as we transition, we were talking about campus monitors to paraprofessionals. You approved 2 board meetings ago, several provisionary internship permits, and that was for former classified staff who are now in the EPIC, which is a special education program, to become special education teachers. And so that's also another pathway that you helped make happen.
Promote the teacher residency program. So we talked about that at great length. I also help with that training. Once a month is when we have it, and it's from 9 to 2:30 every month. We offer that for the resident teacher and their mentor. You have a question?
You have a question for us?
Yeah, so I was wondering if you guys were looking for or interested in maybe setting up a table at like our school's back to school night to try to recruit for your program.
Or which program? The residency program?
I think what she's referring to is that, they're talking about hiring and recruitment fairs, and the fact that they're going to have the back to school night with a lot of the families that are going to be coming to the high school on that day, that if there was something about MUSD now hiring, that a lot of the parents, because now that at the high school, the parents aren't helicoptering over the little kids and they may have more time to possibly do something even part-time, that might be a great opportunity. I think that's what she's referring to.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it this week because I believe it's Thursday, right? But I know that we probably can put something together to provide to maybe hand out to parents, as well as have a QR code or something like that we can provide. But we appreciate the invitation.
That's a great idea. That's thinking outside the box. I love it. Thank you. Go ahead.
We often do that.
Yeah.
utilizing grants. So the County Office of Education, I would just like to say, came into some money, and they were giving $4,000 here, $8,000 there, for particularly geared at classified staff and classified staff going to college, wanting to be early childhood, going into early childhood development. And so we've really been encouraging our classified staff to take advantage of these opportunities while the state has the money. And so we do have classified staff now that are reaping the benefits of those grants. So how you can help us, sometimes you receive that everyone email and it says there's a grant for a teacher program. Just continuing to spread the word as you engage with people in the community helps.
It's a win-win for both. Helps them if they are thinking about that career path. Financially, it provides, some assistance in paying for the tuitions and things. And it helps us if we can grow our own. Next slide. So this is a snapshot of our hiring update. So we have been able to track kind of these numbers back from 17-18. The thing about our HR system is it's from the County Office of Education. We don't really have a choice on what HR system we use to capture all of our information. So it's hard to go back farther. You have to really capture it in real time in the current year. So we tend to run a ton of reports with a ton of information so that later if we need some kind of information, we can sort it accordingly. So this report, or this grid goes back to 2017-18, and it just captures kind of the overall hiring, how many we have hired over the years. So we can talk about, we'll start with last year, 23-24. So for classified staff, we hired 15, and that was as of the June 30th, I believe, that we did that. For certificated staff, the total number that we hired was 60. Of that 60, 46 were general ed, and 14 were special ed. And management, then that year we hired 6 people. For 24-25, so far, as of today, we hired 18 classified staff members. And for certificated staff in total, so far we have, yes.
We did a real-time update, 6 hours ago, so that actually is 20.
Oh,
It
yes.
wasn't updated, so 20 classified staff. And I know sometimes when you see the number, it's a little misleading. We're probably having our HR team interview every other day for classified positions, but just because you interview and you have candidates doesn't mean that they are fully qualified after the interview process, right? So they may have the qualifications to open the door, but then the execution, as you all know, in the interview, as well as the background check and all of those other pieces have to also, and references have to also tie in order for us to secure the deal.
So certificated staff, we hired a total of 56. 37 of them were general staff, and 19 were special ed. And management, so far we have hired 4 this school year. So that's just a snapshot that you can look back on. Next slide. So this grid, it's a little bit wavy. You got it? Yeah, it's wavy, but that's okay. So this talks about our attrition rates. So I'm going to go through, and once I kind of talk you through a little bit and start going through it, it will be very easy to read. So yes.
Scott, is it possible for me to share the updated slide with you?
Oh, is that not
So while he's doing that, is it possible, I like the way you broke down certificate staff into like our psychologists and stuff. I would like to have seen that in the previous slide as well.
For the hiring?
Yeah.
yes. I was going to wing it. Thank you. So what is attrition? It's the gradual reduction in number of employees over a certain period of time. So we were able to get attrition rates back from 21-22. And so let's start at the top column, the very first row. It's the number for classified, it's the number of paras, the number of other general classified staff to give us a total of all classified staff. And then same will go across. So for 21-22, we had 134 paras total. That's a total number of paras. And for all the other classified staff, we had a total of 292. So that gives us a total of 426 total classified staff. The highlighted numbers are the numbers of the employees who left the district. So in this case, in 21-22, there were 55 who left the district, 55 total. So if you take 55 divided by the total number of employees, which is 426, times 100, that gives you an attrition rate of 12.9%. So going across, still in 21-22, the number of general ed teachers we had were 421. Of that, then we had 59 special ed teachers. The number of psychologists and SLPs, we had 24. And then the number of other miscellaneous staff, we had 26. So that gives us a total of 530 employees. Again, we had 55 employees, certificated employees leave the district. So that gave us a 10.4% attrition rate. So same with admin, classified admin, there were three left the district for a total of 20, and with a total of 20. And that gave us a 15%, and so on. Same with certificated admin, we had a total of 44. 6 left, and that gave us an attrition rate of 13.6. So, and then we combined them at the very end, both certificated and classified together. So you can see last year, we did not do this year, obviously, because we don't have a lot of data. So last year, we had a total of 428 classified employees. 31 left the district with an attrition rate of 7.2%. So we are gradually decreasing that attrition rate, and so we're able to retain employees, more employees. Same with the certificated. We have an attrition rate of 8.3, whereas the year before we had 10%, and the year before that was 10.4. For admin, it's 9%. We had an increase of total admin staff, but we had more leave. So, any questions on that? Okay. So this is a snapshot of our team. So we have Damon.
Oh, I was giving them some wait time on slide 6.
Oh.
That's all.
I got a couple of nods.
I didn't know if they needed more wait time. Okay.
So this is a snapshot of our team. So we have Damon, and then there is our executive secretary that we share with the superintendent's office, Mary Lynn, and myself and Heather Forsyth-Cano, who is our systems supervisor. And then we have 5 HR analysts, and 2 of them are for certificated only, and 3 of them handle classified. Any questions on that? Next. Any questions?
Any questions, board members?
Just for clarity, we have 5 analysts that have budget set aside for them. If you recall, maybe not, the last board meeting, there was a question about a consent agenda item regarding a contracted employee that was supporting the HR department, and I'd mentioned that we had an individual on leave. So we do have an individual who is on leave from HR currently. So while you see 5, there's really 4 and a sub.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Oh, thank you.
Last question. I I'm very much interested in sort of our supply of teachers. So, having the residency programs, to me, sounds like a great deal. Today, we only have San Jose State, right? Is it worthwhile to have more schools, let's say Santa Clara or ULP or other national university? Is it worth having more of those relationships so that we have more of a source for teachers? And because of the residency program, I see value in that when they come to us, they already experience our culture. So we don't have to teach that again when they become teachers. So I'm kind of wondering, is it worth that investment for having more partners?
It's somewhat of a catch-22. So the answer is yes, there is value in extending our opportunities for residents in the district. However, there has to be mentors to support them. There have to be district office staff to attend those professional development meetings, to attend the meetings, to bring them in. And so what ends up happening is the individuals and our teams are then taken away from the other work that needs to be done to do that work. And so something ends up suffering. I mean, and it does, because you can't do it all. So I think if we had, when times are good again and we're able to create a position, having a position that's just focused on the residency program just across the district, I think would be a wonderful thing to attain, to work toward.
Assistant James, do we still have our student-teacher partnerships with Santa Clara and National?
We do. And San Francisco State, USC, UOP, and Global Mass. I think that's the name. Global Mass.
And so with the student teaching program, we still have a pipeline. It's a different level of commitment on the part of our district staff.
Correct. Right.
And we have Principal Elsie, who is part of the program with Santa Clara. I came from San Jose State. Mr. James came from San Jose State. So it is definitely one of the ways that we get our pipeline of new people coming in.
And they still, as Superintendent Jordan mentioned, have the opportunity to understand our culture. And I would say that the mentor teachers that are part of those programs equally pour into them the success of them being able to be hired in the district. And we do hire many of our student teachers that aren't part of the residency program.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much for the report.
Good job, as always.
Moving on to item 18, action items, business services, adopt the resolution 2025-16 for giving notice of intent to grant easement to the city of Milpitas.
Motion to adopt.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Scott, do we have any public comments?
We have no public comment at this time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Resolution is adopted. Item B, Human Resources, conduct one reading and adopt the proposed revision to the existing board policy 4030, non-discrimination.
All right. If I may have permission to just speak in general, I have a lot of policies. Just to give a general statement, then I'll connect to those.
Absolutely.
So, the Milpitas Unified School District, we need to update board policies 4030, 4112.9, 4112.9E1, 4119.21, and 4119.22 to reflect current legal requirements and necessary adjustments. I'm going to just briefly talk about what needs to be updated in those policies. So board policy 4030, which is non-discrimination, it's an existing policy. It just needs to be revised. And briefly, 4030 deals with non-discrimination and it prohibits the district from discriminating against district employees regarding race, color, ancestry, national origin, age, religious creed, marital status, pregnancy, reproductive health, decision-making, physical or mental disability, mental condition, genetic information, veteran or military status, sex, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, or gender expression. Board Policy 4033 deals with lactation accommodation. And again, this is an existing policy that's being revised, and what this does is supports an environment for district employees who do need to express milk for their infant children upon returning to work. Board Policy 411 2.9, employee notification, that's being updated to reflect a grammatical change, maintaining its original purpose of outlining the district's responsibility to provide timely and relevant employee notification regarding rights and responsibilities. 411 2.9E1 is the exhibit that lists all of the notices. So again, it's a revision to the list of all of the things that we need to notify employees about. Board Policy 411 9.21, it deals with professional standards. It really focuses on what our district practices related to collective bargaining agreements. And Board Policy 411 9.22 deals with dress and grooming, and it's revised to reflect the district practice based on Government Code 12949 and several court cases. The reason why I lumped them all together is over the next month or so, I'll be bringing several policies to you as we gear up toward revising our Title IX policies, and these all feed into the Title IX policies. So it's laying the groundwork, the revisions are laying the groundwork for the Title IX policies to come. So the action requested is that you approve the following revisions, but a reminder, these policies require one public reading prior to you making a motion.
Thank you, Damon. So do I have a motion to conduct one reading and adopt the proposals of B 1 through 6?
Make such motion.
Again.
A motion and a second. Scott, do we have any public comments?
We have no public comment at this time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Scott, could you please pull up all the different policies? And when we do that, we will scroll through each one, and then after that, I will hit the gavel. Thank you, Superintendent Jordan. I am all about efficiency, but not at the expense of our governance procedures. The best part about the video is folks can pause and read it and keep on going. So.
That's right.
On number 2, lactation accommodations. And number 3, employee notifications.
Just a quick question to Mr. James. So all of the changes in these policies are really just following I can say that, CSBA recommendations, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
CSBA, but also DWK, please don't ask me.
Dennis Wilbur Kelly.
Thank you. Which is also one of the legal firms that we utilize. So
Right.
in conjunction with working with DWK.
Got it, okay.
On the screen is the item 3, employee notification. It wasn't too long ago that we had to read all this out loud. It was less than, what, 5 years ago?
Huh?
It was less than 5 years ago before we did Zoom meetings.
It was a while ago when, yeah.
I think we read resolutions, and then we moved from reading resolutions to video resolutions
Right.
that were being developed by the community. As regards to board policy, depending on what it was, we handled it on a case-by-case basis on whether or not we wanted it read into the record verbally versus allowing it to be read this way
Right, yeah.
into the record via video.
Right.
On screen is item 5.
But I
professional
do
standards.
remember having to read one of these a while ago.
I know we
Maybe
did
my first term.
I know we did the equity,
Yeah.
a couple of others. It's a great way for board members to really engage with the information in terms of what trickles down in terms of what happens across the district. These turn into administrative
Right,
regulations that
yeah,
are
sure.
overseen by the superintendent, that's executed by the executive cabinet, all the way through the district. So finding ways to have people engaged and be informed versus being misinformed, because that's where challenges come in when folks don't know what they don't know that we've already approved, or our ability to enforce what's already written in our, that the board has already recognized as education code or board policy so that we can run an efficient district.
Thank you for that, Trustee Norwood. And what was shown was item 6, dress and grooming. All those have been scrolled for a public reading, so all the revisions are adopted as we had a unanimous vote. Item C, Superintendent's Office, adopt the resolution 2025.9, recognizing September 15th to October 15th as National Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month. Scott.
Yeah, for this resolution, actually, our Calaveras Hills High School Student Board Rep, Gavidia, helped recruit a group of students to not only star in the video, but revise the resolution to make it more up to date. I think they did a fantastic job. We're going to play it for you right now.
Resolution 2025.9, recognizing September 15th through October 15th as National Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas in 1968, President Lyndon Johnson started the observation as Latinx Hispanic Heritage Week. In 1988, President Ronald Reagan expanded the week to a month, enacting it into a law on August 17, 1988. And whereas the definition of Latinx used for a person of Latin American origin or descent, a gender-neutral term sometimes used in lieu of Latino and or Latina, reference Latin Americans' subcultural and their racial identity. And
Milpitas originated from the word milpa, delivered from Nahuatl words mili, defined as agricultural field, and pan, defined as on. And the city of Milpitas' history dates back to Spanish expeditions of late 18th century. And in honor today with the preservation of Jose Maria Alves Adobe and Jose Herrera Adobe, and Milpitas' own town mayor Carmen Montono, as well as Police Chief Jared Hernandez, are making Hispanic voices heard and making change in the world. And the experiences of Hispanic community is an important aspect of the United States and Milpitas' rich, diverse culture. And whereas Latinx Heritage Month offers the opportunity to learn of the profound impact of Hispanics throughout history, including civil rights activist Cesar Chavez, Sergeant Marcario Garcia, engineer and astronaut Ellen Ochoa, film director Alfonso Cuarón, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and Surgeon General Antonio Novello are amongst those who lobbied Latinx Heritage Month as a national celebration. And whereas Bad Bunny, Peso Pluma, George Lopez, the Marias, and Claudia Sheinbaum, the first president of Mexico, with their Hispanic roots have made an impact in the Latinx community. And
whereas the formation of the League of United Latin American Citizens in 1929, the United Farm Workers of America in 1965, Mendez versus Westminster in 1945, the East Los Angeles walkouts in 1968, the Mexican American League Defense and Education Fund in 1968, the Southwest Voters Registration Education Project in 1974, and El Congreso del Pueblo de Habla Española in 1938 are all events amongst many others in the U.S. history where Hispanics played a central role. And
whereas each year, Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America.
now therefore be it resolved that the governing board of the Milpitas Unified School District join other communities and school districts in our nation in celebrating September 15 to October 15 as a National Latinx Heritage Month, passed and adopted by the Milpitas Unified School District Board of Education at a meeting held on September 24, 2024 by the following vote. From Calaveras Hills High School, Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Resolution is adopted. Moving on to item 2, adopt resolution 2025.8 honoring the 2,574th anniversary of the birth of Confucius.
All right, for this resolution, Ms. Tao's AP China's language students at Milpitas High School were featured in the video we're about to play for you now.
Hi, my name is Ashton Chen, a senior at Milpitas High School. We're students in Ms. Tao's AP Chinese, here to read Resolution 2025.8, honoring the anniversary of the birth of Confucius.
Whereas September 28th, 551 BC is recognized as a date on which Confucius was born in the town of Chifu in what is now Shandong province of China, and
whereas Confucius, as one of the greatest thinkers, teachers, and social philosophers in history, developed a philosophy that has deeply influenced and continues to influence the social and political thought of countries around the world, and
whereas Confucius is respected as the first teacher of Chinese society, having influenced countless individuals in their respective ideologies, and
Confucius planted a seed of peaceful, intellectual, and social evolution in the minds and heart of the Chinese people, consistently advocating for an informed and educational society, and
whereas the teaching of Confucius that what one does not wish for oneself, one ought not to do anyone else. What one recognizes as desirable for oneself, one ought to be willing to grant to others, is a model for ethical behavior and for the promotion of harmony among people, and
whereas Confucius taught that an ideal government is founded upon loyalty, respect for elders, and recognition of the importance of family, and
whereas the committee of the Confucius Memorial Ceremony represented Shandong Association, the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in San Francisco, Association of the Northern California Chinese Schools, and the Culture Center of Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in San Francisco, Milpitas, and Whereas the Confucius Memorial Ceremony observed its 43rd anniversary this year, taking place at the Cultural Center of Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in San Francisco. Milpitas on September 22nd. And now therefore be it resolved that the governing board of the Milpitas Unified School District honors the 2574th anniversary of the birth of Confucius and recognizes his invaluable contributions to philosophy and social and political thought.
Passed and adopted by the Milpitas Unified School District Board of Education at a meeting held on September 24th, 2024 by the following vote.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Resolution is adopted, and I also want to thank the board members for attending the Confucius Memorial Ceremony this past Sunday here at the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Milpitas. Item 19, consent items. Consent items are considered routine and will be acted upon by the board in one motion. There's no discussion on these items prior to the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request that specific items be tabled or removed for discussion or correction. Are there any items to be tabled or removed? Looking left, any? Assistant Superintendent Damon James.
I just wanted to make a quick comment on the approval of, consent item A1, approved field trip request, September 24th. And I just wanted to note, student board member Elijah talked about the trip that they're taking to Davis and the Capitol. And it's one that you're planning to approve tonight, but he was unsure of the date. And it says October 18th. So I wanted you just to note that.
Thank you, Damon. With that said, do we have a motion to approve consent items? Oh, Mary Lou Jordan House. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve consent items?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Scott, any additional comments, public comments, I should say?
We have no public comment at this time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none. Consent items are approved. Dates of future board meetings: October 8th, tentative study session, 5 p.m., tentative closed session, 6 p.m., open session, 7 p.m., hybrid on Zoom, YouTube, here at the World Languages School. And October 22nd, same. Item 21, announcements and reminders. Trustee Zhang.
So the Milpitas Community Education Foundation asked me to remind the district as well as staff that there are 2 grants available, $10,000 for that is available. Those grants must be submitted by the end of this month, and there's a second grant of $2,000 for STEAM projects that is also due at the same time. At current, they indicate there are so far only 2 applicants. So there is money out there for teachers and staff, and we would encourage them to take advantage of it.
That was me.
Oh.
Thank you, Trustee Zhang. Any other announcements, reminders, trustees?
We do have the Chamber Awards Gala.
I don't think your mic's on, Board Clerk Naka.
Thank you, President. No, we do have the Chamber Awards Gala coming up for community, anybody to attend. The tickets are still available. It's on October 4th. And also the manufacturing event of our high school students, around 70 students are participating. So looking forward to attending that as well. Thank you, President. No.
Thank you, Board Clerk, Dr. Naka. Executive Cabinet, any other announcements, reminders? Mary Lou Jordan House.
One quick announcement, that is that when I shared about Healthy Year Kids, the question, I neglected to include preschool, and they also are getting support from our Healthy Year Kids Foundation as well. So I just wanted to provide that clarity.
Thank you, Mary Lou.
I want to draw attention to Thursday's block party at Milpitas High School, formerly known as Back to School Night. It'll be something bigger, greater, and the first of its kind.
Thank you, Superintendent Jordan. Going once, going twice. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.